Hi, my name is Rutendo Nyamwada, and welcome back to another extraordinary episode of In My 20s. In my 20s. So we live in this digital age, and so it would only make sense that we made use of digital technology to better our lives. And that's exactly what our guest did when she made use of a dating app to hire someone. So I know it's maybe like a tiny portion of this episode of the In My 20s podcast, but it was like legitimately the highlight for me. And also the part where we sang a little bit of The Lion King. So welcoming herself onto the In My 20s podcast and into the In My 20s family, here she is.
So my name is Theo Voges. Please don't call me by my full name. I prefer Theo. It's so much better. It rolls off the tongue a lot easier. Also, I find myself to be Little Miss Sunshine. I'm also known as Thor when I've had too many glasses of wine. I really enjoy being around animals and some really good people. And I really enjoy wine and Aperol spritz. That pretty much sums me up. Oh yeah, and then tech as well.
Now on every episode of the In My 20s podcast, my guests always come through with these dial it up, all the way up mind moment or gem moment, and this is just one of them.
And I realized that I've spent my entire life trying to be good enough. And eventually I asked myself, I was like, what is good enough? And good enough for who or what? And why is that who or what not me?
The In My 20s podcast is split up into 3 sections. In the first section, we get to hear a little bit more about Theo's career journey. In the second section, we dive into today's topic, which is all about hiring and recruiting and processes and practices. And then rounding up all 3 sections is a conversation about Theo's 20s journey. So without further delay, let's get straight into it. I know from our discussions that your background is actually in ballet dancing and not in technology, which is very fascinating, and I don't even know how those two worlds have collided. So give us a little bit of insight into your career history and how you even ended up where you are today.
I went to an all-girls high school, Bishop's and sister schools and SIPs, and that was really tough for me. I'm not a girly girl at all, so I did not fit in. And the only way I did fit in was because I did ballet. So, you know, to try and fit in, because I always felt like I never fitted in, and I always wanted to. I always fit in with the boys, but never with the girls, and that made them hate me. And it's hard for a lot of girls to hate you when you only go to a girls' school all day. So, you know, I was like, okay, cool, I'm going to do this ballet thing.
Yes.
And I was studying fine music through Associated Board of the Royal Schools of Music.
Oh, wow.
Through my high school.
What music instruments?
Cello, and I sang opera.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah,
okay.
I know. Tell me about it. It's fucking weird.
I played the flute. I did my grade 7.
Oh, really?
Exams, yeah.
Okay.
Classically trained.
Yeah, baby. Same here. So I did my theory and I did my practical in cello and opera. And then I was like, cool. Let's do this. Let's do this thing. Went to Italy, studied in Bologna for a little bit.
Oh my god.
I was sang there for a little bit, and I was like, okay, cool.
How was that
now?
experience? How was that experience? Because that takes you away from home. You're in a different country, different cultures.
Oh, I loved it. I loved it because, as I said, my thing is if I don't learn something from you, I'm not interested. I can't.
Okay.
I need to learn all the time.
Yeah.
Teach me stuff. Teach me a new language. Teach me how to read a map, because girls, you need to learn how to read a map, okay? Google Maps is not always going to be there for you. And then also, Italian men are weird, so if you get lost, they will try and take you to their home.
Oh, I love that. I don't know where your home is, but I know where mine is.
Yeah, I heard that one a few times. It was really cool. I lived in Bologna. It was beautiful. It's actually where the first university was built. And it was a music university. So it specializes in music.
Okay.
I sang under some of the best opera singers in the world.
Oh, wow.
And then I was like, okay, cool. I'm going to come back to South Africa and I'm going to try and learn other dance styles because now my ankles are fucked. So I was like, cool, let's do tap dancing and let's do jazz and let's do modern.
How old were you when you came back?
1920.
Okay.
I think, that age.
Okay.
1920.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, cool, I'm going to learn other stuff now. And I'm not going to do opera anymore so they told me I had to put on weight to be a soprano so that my voice carries more because there's more fat for the the sound to generate through, you know, all these fucking wives' tales. But
that.
anyways, and it makes your rib cage bigger so that there's more vibration, so there's more sound. And I was like, look here, I've been a ballerina my whole life. I weighed like 40 kilograms my whole life. There's no fucking ways I'm putting bread to my mouth. So I was like, no, not doing opera anymore. I was like, where can I be skinny and sing? And I was like, oh, like jazz. I'll do some musical theatre.
Yes.
Started focusing on like musical theatre and tap dancing and jazz and modern, which by the way I'm very bad at modern dancing. I'm shocking.
This is like step will change.
Changes. I can't. I'm done. I look like a plank because I just did too much ballet. Like there's too much rigidity. I look like a robot.
But that's amazing though. I went through my own dance phase. So I tried. So I did do adult ballet in either like grade 11 or matric.
Okay.
To my mom. My mom knows my little sister. Those are the only people who actually saw me do it. Everyone else is like,
I'd like to see you do it. We should get a bottle of wine. I'll bring the ballet shoes. This is
what I learned.
But then so I decided, cool, I'm gonna go, and I studied at the Waterfront Theatre Company.
Yeah.
And studied a little bit of drama, was in a few plays. And I was just like, this life isn't for me. I just feel like everybody's all over the place and they're all trying to be like superstars and rock stars. And I don't want to be a superstar or a rock star.
Okay, so you found like everyone was on the same mission as you. Everyone wanted to be a dancer. Everyone wanted to be a creator.
And I was just like, why the fuck? Yeah. I'm the black sheep in my family. Why would I be the sheep here in this place? No thanks.
I hear you.
I just know.
You want to stand out. You're like, what can I do that no one else is doing? 100%.
I did not even know what I was signing up for. So I went to this theatre school and I was like, cool, that's what I'm going to do. And then I was like, oh no, I don't want to do this. And then like my sister applied me without me knowing, and my friend to Disney. And then I went to an interview that I didn't know was an interview. And then there was a crying baby next door, so I stopped the interview to go and see what the crying baby was about. And they hired me on the spot because I cared about the baby more than I cared about the interview.
I think it was because you were so dramatic. You were like, stop the dramatics. I need to go check up on the baby.
Look here, the baby was actually like wailing.
Okay.
It was wailing.
Okay.
And it was alone in the room next door.
No.
But actually it was set up. It was a fucking fake baby.
Oh.
It was a little robot that they had going.
Oh, because they wanted to see what
I was
because it was for Disney.
Exactly.
So if you wait to get the fake baby and you're like, stop, and you shook it, then they'll be like, no, you are not going to Disney.
Well, the fact that I stopped the interview and I said, I'm so sorry, can you give me 5 minutes? I just got to go and see what is going on.
Do you know what would even top off your interview even more? If you picked up the baby and you started singing. If we started singing to the baby.
Can you imagine? It would be a total like little like Cinderella moment.
Or you could hold it up like in the Lion King.
Yes.
Like, this is why we're friends. Because you get it.
I know. I get it. We get it.
We get it.
We're on it.
Exactly. Every time there's a baby or a baby, you pick up
and
the baby
and
puppies,
a puppy.
You
have to do anything
that's
under the age of 1.
Exactly. You have to pick up, lift it up,
hold it to the light, and sing.
And then the circle of life, and then anyone else around you has to go onto their knees and then like be like the animals.
And then like start dancing and be like. If you don't, you're not my friend.
If you don't, you better get out. Thank you. Next.
So moved back to South Africa. And got a job at Alan Gray. Don't know how that happened. Okay. I think I just had like little angels on my back. A recruiter headhunted me and put me forward, and I got the job. Started, and within 7 days, I realized that one of my previous like acquaintances that I'd met at a bar who I snuck in the back door because the owner wouldn't let him in because he didn't look cool enough.
Okay.
I snuck him in through the back door, and there he was standing at Alan Gray, and he was the manager of IT.
Oh my gosh.
And he was like, you look like you're having a really bad day. And I said, I hate my job. So he said, oh, well, don't you want to be my PA?
And just like that.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, cool, what does that mean? He's like, well, I hate emails and I'm not very good at scheduling things. I was like, cool, I love emails and I'm really good at scheduling things. So after I'd say about...
What were you originally hired for? Because you said you got a job at Alan Gray.
Oh yeah, in the client service centre.
So what did that entail? Because obviously
that entailed
as a ballet
making
dancer,
sure like people... So when I worked for Disney, that's where I lived when I worked for in the States.
Okay.
And I was a service excellence trainer there. So I really focused on like how you present yourself, how you build your company and your business brand as well as your personal brand by how you carry yourself and how you entertain and how you like react and how you just interact with people. So they hired me at Allen Gray to come and teach some of their consultants like how to, you know, do their thing. And I just was not loving it. So, because you can't tell an actuarial scientist that he can't have tomato sauce on his tie when he talks to someone. But anyways, let's not go into that. So
let's go into that, yeah. Okay.
So I was sitting with this guy. His name is Benny O. Any techies out there will definitely know who he is.
Yeah.
The coolest Taiwanese techie guy in the world. And he started talking to me about all these different like coding languages like C# and HTML and CSS, and I was like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? So I said to him, I was like, dude, what the fuck are you talking about? I don't understand like how I'm supposed to help you to schedule these things if I have no idea what the context of this is. So he wrote down on a piece of paper basically the entire tech stack and took me through everything on a little A4 jotted down piece of paper.
Oh wow.
And I kept it and I studied it and I learned it and I tried to do as much research as I could, and I started learning to code CSS and HTML.
So I have no idea what a tech stack even is.
So it's all the different technologies, all the different coding languages that you can code in. So each language provides you with different tools on a platform. So like when you're coding the back end, what happens on the back end, like how the system runs, is you use certain languages to code that. And then on the front end, to make your front end, like the page that you see on the website look really pretty, it's a different language that you use. So there's hundreds and thousands of different languages. And there's some like really key ones that he was looking for.
So he literally just wrote that on a piece of paper, gave it to you, and was just, and you like...
Yeah, so I was like, cool, I need to understand what this is, otherwise I can't help this guy. Yeah, so I just like stuck my head down and I was like, cool, I'm going to learn about all of this stuff. And I started setting up events and meeting people and learning. And I
so a lot of research behind of what you were doing.
Yeah.
You ended up taking his job.
Yeah, so he moved on to another company and I took over his job, and then I hired a team to work for me.
What position did you go into? What position did he have?
So I went from PA to the IT recruitment manager for Allen Gray.
In a matter of how long?
It took me 2.5 years.
Oh my gosh.
Killer queen.
So you don't. So in terms of I'm just trying to wrap up, because for me, IT and tech is such a you have to have gone to study IT to understand code and HTML and CC one part and 1 2 3 and hashtags and hash. I don't get any of that. I just see the program. I'm like, cool, it works. So you're telling me in 2.5 years you learned how to do what basically people go and study?
No, so basically, I don't actually do the coding. I don't go and build the platforms. And I don't go and build the websites and all the systems and stuff like that.
You just recruit the people.
I recruit the people. So I got to find the right people, which is really fucking hard because people pay a shitload of money for good developers. And if they're being treated well at like the likes of Amazon, Google, Takealot, Facebook, like... It's really hard to make someone leave their company if they're happy there. So you got to be super fucking knowledgeable on the tech stack because they're not gonna come over just because you're a pretty girl and you're talking to them.
Yes,
you know it's a career decision. You got to know what you're talking about.
100%. Because if you're recruiting them and you're talking about like I don't know, technology is developing always, so you also have to know what the latest technology is. I have to know exactly
what it is and what it does and why we use it and why we're using React versus Ember, or why you should have a Bitbucket account, or like all these kinds of things. Like there's so much to know, but if you don't know it, nobody's going to want to talk to you. People in tech want to work for companies that know their shit. And if your recruiter or the person who's running the recruitment or the resourcing for your business doesn't know their shit, you are screwed.
The tech industry for me is one of those industries that when people look at from the outside, it's one of those jobs where you're like, oh, tech industry, male dominated, or engineering, male dominated, pilots, male dominated. It's automatically one of those industries, and maybe the stats are correct and maybe I'm right, which I think I am.
You are right.
How is it being a woman in the tech industry knowing that it is dominated majority by men?
So that is a great question. I absolutely love it. So just so that I can confirm for you, yes, it is very male dominated. There are a shit ton more men in tech than there are women. And
that's quantifiable. A shit ton is quantifiable.
It is. A shit ton.
Yeah.
Just to give you some idea, like when I joined the company that I currently work at, I was the second female that worked for the company.
How big was the company?
There were 26 of us, including myself, and there were 2 women.
Sure.
Including myself. And after 6 months of being with the company, I've scaled up the business to about 60 employees.
Sure.
And of those 60, 14 of them are female, which is fucking awesome. It just brings a whole different variety and spice into the company.
Yeah.
It also changes the way that the business grows, because putting a woman who understands tech in front of a boardroom of men and she cleans them out is probably the most attractive thing I could ever imagine.
Of the people you've recruited most recently,
yes,
of the women, and in terms of diversity, how many of those people are people of color? Because I find that 2 issues in hiring sometimes in general is, 1, bringing more women into an industry, but 2, making sure that there is a good representation of people of color who can do the job as well in those industries.
So there are more women of color in our business than there are white females.
Okay. Was that a strategic decision that you guys had made?
No, it wasn't necessarily a strategic decision. It is something that you try and keep in the back of your mind, but I don't. So I run the whole entire hiring process for the business, and it is something that I do strive for. But when I interview people and when we bring people on board, I hire people because of what they are able to do, not because of the color of their skin or what sex they are. I allow everybody the same opportunity, and what you bring to the table is what I assess you on. I don't look at your skin color. I don't look at what genitalia you have. I do not care. If you can grow my business for me the way I want it to be grown, you have a spot in my business.
I've been in situations, and I mean a lot of people have been in similar situations, where there's this all boys club. So you're treated automatically in the environment that you're working in because you're female.
Yeah.
It's not about your work. It's just like men connect and they're like, cool, we're going to go watch the game, or cool, we're going to do this, but you're being excluded. Yeah. So now when they're having those conversations in the office, they're bringing that little, hey, my buddy from this weekend's little, same WhatsApp group. And they have that it's a different connection, right? Yeah. So it's that all boys, but that's my friend. He can get away with it, even if it's in...
Do you know why that is still around?
Why?
It's because women don't break that little WhatsApp group down.
But how do you break that down?
You include yourself. You force yourself into that conversation. Like, for example, I found out that 2 of the Asian guys that work for us are secretly in this little basketball team, and they go and play basketball every day after work.
Yeah.
And I was like, why the fuck didn't you invite me?
But
so now I go to their basketball games and I play.
But Theo, it takes a certain character to do that, because your character as you are, you can do that. You have the confidence to be like, I want to be one of the boys, I'm gonna step up. What about the girls who don't? What about the girls who are just like, actually, I don't enjoy basketball, or I don't have the confidence to stand up and say to the guys, I want to destroy your all boys group, but still wants to be included, is not as outspoken, but is damn good at their job, but is only excluded on the basis that she's female. That's it.
Well, then she should be like, hey guys, I don't really want to play basketball, but can you invite me so I can come watch you guys? And she can bring her nail polish, and she can bring her bottle of champagne, and she can bring her girls, because trust me, after 45 minutes, those boys get hot and they take their shirts off, and it's a beautiful view.
But I think it's also up to the company that you work with, work for. It
it's
comes
the
from
culture.
It's the culture. It comes from the HR thing. So what are we doing? What is inclusive of our company that we can do together to team build? Because yes, we know that you'll break out into your little circles, but at the end of the day, as a company, this is what respect is in the company. We do not tolerate hate speech or violence or sexism or racism in these walls. You do not bring that here, and if you are, these are the actions that will be taken. There will be a disciplinary hearing. You bring it forth because it also allows people to feel more free,
But that's also... So so I do all the hiring and the resourcing for the business. So when you hire people, you can kind of tell when you meet someone what kind of a person they are. If they're going to be a shit stirrer, if they're going to come and try and put some fucking race shit and try and put the Great Wall of China in between us, you can kind of see what kind of a person it is. Yeah. Also, as I said, I am spy level 10. So I do background digging. And before I interview you, I already know what your mum looks like. I know what your cousin looks like. I've been through your entire Facebook profile and your ex-girlfriends or your ex-boyfriends. I want to know all the dirt.
Is that what recruiters do these days?
Well, I think I take it to a whole nother level. Also, just on a side note, I have used Tinder before as a recruitment platform.
No, hit me! Using tech to recruit.
Yes. Yeah. And I hired the guy too.
What? But did you like have that like hey before you hired him, or was it like strictly for hiring purposes?
My message. So we matched immediately. I swiped right and it was like, it's a match, and I was like, yeah. Send a message. I was like, oh my god, you are a CRM developer. That is so cool. And he was like, oh my god, how do you know what CRM developers are? And I was like, well, I'm in tech.
Oh my word.
So we started talking about tech, and I was like, well, our business is having a meetup, you should come through.
Oh my word.
He came through, he loved the business.
I'm finished.
And then we made him an offer and he got hired.
But was he still not like crushing on you? Was he still not like,
so
hey?
we did have to have that weird conversation.
How did that go?
So we were sitting at lunch. After he had done his interview, I said, come, let's go and have lunch. Because I actually had to address it with him.
Okay.
Because I was getting some like cute messages on the side and I was like, it's not going to work. Although he was really attractive. That's why I swiped right initially.
Ooh,
and then he was also a developer. So I was like, so we work together now, so we can't do that because I don't shit where I eat. And he was like, but you found me on Tinder, it was false hope. I was like, honey, you should be grateful because I've literally stepped up your career, I've increased your salary, and you're working for a massive company now. So I don't know what you expect a girlfriend to do, but I just pretty much made your life.
Oh, wow. What did he say? Was he silent? Was he just
No, he was just like, you know what, it's still cool, I get to still hang out with you, blah, blah, blah.
Theo, that is like the best thing ever. Like Tinder's gonna
I did get into trouble for it though. My previous boss did get upset with me.
Oh, well, I mean, how did you get out of it? Were you like, well, you see what had happened was I was on Tinder because my situation at the moment, and then I swiped, and then I was like, developer, and I was like, boom, hire him.
No, it wasn't like that. So I was actually we were chatting, my boss and I were chatting, and he was like, Theo, you need to think of clever ways of hiring people.
I love this.
So I was like, I'm so fucked in the head. So let's think of something ridiculous. And I was like, do you know what?
Oh my god.
So I was on Tinder because I was single at the time, and then I saw, how they have like their little job profiles underneath their name and age?
Yes, yeah.
And I was like, bing, light bulb moment. I was like, I can see developers here, and there are lots of them.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, and I can pick the good looking ones for the company too, so that there's some man meat for me to stare at as they walk past my desk. So I did it on the sly, and then after we hired him, my boss was like, where did you find him? And I was like, well, on Tinder. He was like, Theo, you need to stop doing that right now.
No, but it wasn't your fault because he told you to go and find creative ways to recruit.
That's what
creative.
I said.
And you used a tech app. You used tech to hire tech.
I know.
I would have given you a raise for that off the bat. It would have been like 10 out of 10.
Do you want to be my boss?
I could be the boss. I could raise and everything. That is legitimately the best use of Tinder that I've,
I have stopped doing that just so that everyone knows.
What is Tinder,
if you do see me on Tinder, I'm not trying to recruit you. I've got enough employees.
Are you on for other reasons?
Yes.
Ooh.
Because I'm single.
My friend actually told me that I should use the podcast because every time I have a guy on, she's like, oh, is he single? And I'm like, no, yeah, cool, take him, whatever.
I think that should be part of the intro. So like the next person that you do a little interview with, please can you just like make them state where they are in the relationship situation.
Exactly. So I know how much to like
give. Facebook, is it it's complicated. It's complicated, with so and so.
100%. And then if they start in the beginning by saying that they're in something, I'm gonna be like, actually, we're not gonna do this episode anymore. See what had happened is something came up, can't be here anymore, time, boom, bye.
There's too much noise, we can't do it today. Reschedule for never.
Love it. But it would be like when my 20s match up.
Okay.
So coming soon.
Totes.
Beautiful. But by then I might be out of my 20s. But I also can't date someone in my 20s anymore because I'm 20.
No. You should be aiming for 10 years older than you.
Ooh, that's wait, how old are... Okay, I can play ball with that.
You do know that it takes men a little bit longer to mature.
Way longer.
They're like a good bottle of red wine, because once they've hit that maturity level, it's fucking lekker. Just takes a bit longer. Whereas women are like, we're served ice cold, chilled white wine. It tastes great from the moment you open it.
Right. Before the podcast started, we had decided that you had just humaned really well. You have humaned. I think you're humaning really well.
Thank you.
And to human well. No, you do. You really do. And to human is kind of like to live without expectations of other people. Like you're living for yourself.
I am now.
Okay. So take me through your 20s journey and how did you come to this point, this pivotal point where you're like, it's me, I'm doing me?
So it took a breakup.
Okay.
A real bad one. A real hard one, which I'm still like trying to fucking get over. It's been 5 months, but you know, we're still here.
Sounded like it happened a long time ago, but 5 months ago. So what had happened? So breakup?
So breakup, and I realized that I've spent my entire life trying to be good enough. And eventually I asked myself, I was like, what is good enough? And good enough for who or what? And why is that who or what not me?
Wow.
Why am I not good enough for myself?
Wow. And what does that mean? What does it mean to put yourself first? Like, what does that actually mean? Because I feel like people think that they're putting themselves first and that they're taking care of themselves, but they're really not.
I like to always think about like that little moment in the airplane, like before you take off, and like that little air hostess is standing in the front. She's like, you need to put your own mask on before you put the person's on next to you. It's so fucking valid. It's a very valid point. I think people need to think about that more often.
Put your own mask on.
Put your own mask on.
And how many times do we hear that? Put your own mask on first.
Exactly.
Save yourself first.
Exactly.
You first.
How are you going to save anybody if you're dead?
But that is so true. And it's also that whole thing of like, you know, your cup overflows and you can pour into other people's lives as well. How can you pour into other people's lives when you yourself are not filled and you yourself are not whole? Yeah. Like, why are you loving empty?
But you know, what I would just want to say about that as well is like, I chased this idea of having my cup overflowing, you know, and I don't think that it's like that you are ever going to get to the point where your cup is like overflowing constantly. Like your cup will be full and then it will be empty and then that's life. You know, roll with the punches. Take it as it comes, like day by day.
Yeah, but that also gives other people an opportunity
to fill your cup.
Exactly. So it comes back to love. It's like, if you're going to give love, can you receive and are you willing to receive love as well when you need it?
Yes.
And so Theo, have you experienced the quarter life crisis? When was it and how did you get through it?
So, life crisis was... I was completely and totally in love with a man, and I planned my entire life to be with him.
Okay.
And this was before I realized you need to put your own mask on first. And my entire world came crashing down when he broke up with me.
Okay.
And I mean, girl, you were there. You saw me, bawling my eyes out on the floor, sobbing. And I'm going to be honest and say that if I did not see a psychologist and if I wasn't on antidepressants and anxiety medication, I don't know if I would be here today, to be 100% honest. Like, life was really fucking hard. You know, you plan this whole dream life and you've been working on it and you dedicate your entire life to a person. Yeah. And they say that you're not good enough for them. It's just really, really fucking tough. So it took a lot of strength to be able to pull through that. Yeah. But, you know, I'm a very determined person and I'm extremely resilient. So at the end of the day, I wasn't going to let one person in the world of billions of people choose like how I will live the rest of my life, whether I'm going to be happy or unhappy. Yeah. So it took a lot of strength and it took a lot of support from my friends and family and from people who work in co-working spaces with me, like you, girl.
Hey, girl.
Thank you. You know, sometimes it just took like a little wave from someone or a hug or someone sending a text message and just being like, hey, I'm thinking of you. You know, it was real. It was really, really tough.
Yeah. And people always think with breakups or when you are head over heels in love with someone and it doesn't work out that you can just get over it.
Yeah, I thought I could. Yeah. I thought I could.
It doesn't matter how tough you are. The emotions still take their toll. You still go through
You still live through it.
No, you do.
You still live through it.
But really, really, I mean, it's amazing to see you as well, like from December until now, like, you have flipped switch completely.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, you're always such a positive person, and if I didn't know what you were going through, I wouldn't have known.
I have found like a little bit of strength in myself, and I do like, I notice other people's problems, and I like to like just, sometimes you just need to be an ear.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just need to let someone say what they have been thinking, because once you say it out loud, it's a reality.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, my entire mirror wall and my bedroom wall has got like little hashtag words everywhere.
Yeah.
And right in the middle of the wall it says "Be fucking magnificent." And in the middle of my mirror it says "Know your worth.
Yes.
You're number one."
Yes.
Like, you know what?
Yes.
If you have to do that for yourself, fucking do it.
Write it down. Look at
Like,
it every day.
Look at it. When you are brushing your teeth, you are literally reminding yourself, and say it out loud. Talk to yourself. It's not weird. Okay, it is weird. But you know what? You know what? It fucking helps you. Because what you say and what you put out in the universe is what you're going to fucking get.
Yeah. I could not agree with you anymore. So Theo, coming to the end of the show, I just want to know, what advice do you have for women in the tech industry right now who are in their 20s in particular?
I think that they should be a little bit more resilient and brave. And of course, like 100% know your worth. Like, if you know what you are capable of and what you are offering and what's on the table from your side, that is what the rest of the world sees. How you treat yourself is how the world is going to treat you.
Oh my word, how much fun was that? Oh my word, Theo, I don't think we actually took a breath in this podcast episode. I think we were laughing like probably close to 50% of the time on this podcast episode. But thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing your journey. And Theo, there were so many incredible moments on this episode of the podcast. I particularly want to zoom into this last section where you spoke about the power of your words and what you say about yourself, and even writing down some positive words or phrases around your household, around your place that you can look at every day. Because at the end of the day, I really do honestly believe, and in line with what you said, that we are what we say and we attract what we say, and the power of our words has an incredible great impact on our lives and how we carry ourselves. So if you do so with positivity, you will exude positivity and attract positivity. And if you are negative and down all the time, then that's what you may attract at the end of the day. So guys, we look forward to our next episode of the In My 20s podcast. Please don't forget to subscribe, and share the In My 20s podcast with your friends and family. As mentioned in the last previous episode of the podcast, we are moving our home base from SoundCloud to Iono. So those of you who have been following on SoundCloud, please can you do so on Iono, and we can't wait to join other platforms like Google Play as well. So we will catch you same time, same place, right here on In My 20s. In my 20s, in my 20s, how old are you? I am whatever you say I am. And if I wasn't, then why would I say I was in my 20s?